What is a 1 in a million thing that happened to you that will never happen again?
r/Reddit.
One time I pointed at the sky one night and told my little brother, "Watch this," and a effing shooting star came and went. Dude. When I was young, me and my good friend were looking and were talking about shooting stars and saw one right away. It was wild.
r/Reddit.
I took a job in a somewhat remote area of northeast China about 20 years ago. I had 2 roommates, one American and one Canadian, and we were part of just a handful of foreigners out of about 2 million Chinese in that area. Fast forward 10 years and I'm back in the USA. I was dating a girl who was going on a girls' trip to Mexico. She and her girlfriends went out to a bar and got to talking with another group of people. One of the guys there started showing photos from his travels, and lo and behold, there I am. He was my roommate from China a decade before, and while chatting with these girls, decided to share the pictures of his travels. After a few of those "prove that you know him" questions, they both flipped out. Small world. Edit. Wow. I woke up to a lot of notifications this morning. Hee. I went through and read them all though. Thanks so much for sharing your small world stories. All was great until the orgy pics. Then it got even better.
r/Reddit.
I stuck my hand out the window to feel if it was still raining, and a bird shat right on it. Never doing that again. That bird was talking to his friends later that night like. So I let one loose while flying, and when I looked down, it landed on some random hand stuck out a window. What are the odds? Definitely doing that again. That bird probably started a new fucking competition among his bird friends to see how many hands they can drop a bomb on. Edit. Thanks stranger for my first silver.
r/Reddit.
I was playing beer pong years ago. Definitely past my limit on drinks. This really pretty girl shows up to the party and asks how to play beer pong. I start explaining the rules, and when I got to trick shot, she asks what they were. Never breaking eye contact, I threw my ball up, which hit the ceiling fan blades, which were going at full speed, and went straight into a cup. After laughing for 10 minutes, we all tried to recreate the hole-in-one. Never even slightly close. I hope you guys banged like animals after that laughing. He threw her into the fan and she bounced right on his D. Brand new sentence. Back in 1989, I was living in Las Vegas, and a female friend that I desperately wanted to date and impress asked me to teach her how to shoot. So we go down to the gun store, rent a .38 special 6-shot 4-inch revolver. We get a target and a box of wad cutters. I send the target all the way down to the 50-foot mark and start explaining how the gun works. I load a single round in, and am showing her the difference between single and double action. I cock the hammer back, and aim downrange while looking her directly in the face. She's perpendicular to the axis of my arm. I explain how there's much less trigger pull when firing single action, and I pull the trigger. The gun goes off. And I continued to explain why it's a bad idea to ever use single action, despite what she might see in a movie. She wants to know where the bullet went. She hits the target return. My hand to God. It was a bullseye. Dead center. Maybe 1 centimeter up and to the left from a perfect X. Needless to say, it was a total fluke, and I could never, ever do it again. I mean, I'm a good shot, but not like that. And certainly not almost 30 years later. My eyes are old. Still, I had her undivided attention for the rest of the day. Sadly, that didn't impress her as much as I'd hoped it would when I realized where I'd hit it.
r/Reddit.
I don't know the actual stats, but I won one of those gold PS4 sets back when Taco Bell was doing their sweepstakes. I won a PS4 from a sketchy video game history quiz, and they shipped it all the way from India. I have no idea what company even sent it. Only that to this day the PS4 still holds up and it's been like 4 years of near constant use. Sketchy websites from India actually work. Didn't know it was Indian. Till I got an email from a random company saying I came in second place but first place never claimed the prize, and then googled the company only to find out it was in India. I had just googled PS4 giveaway and entered about 50 till something stuck. Now I just stick to less sketchy things like Amazon gift cards through Hit Predictor. Feel weird that I have my address out to a random company.
r/Reddit.
Once upon a time, my brother and I were arriving late at night to a little cabin in the woods. It was winter, it was pitch black outside, and it was freezing. We needed to get a fire lit ASAP. But the firewood was stacked outside the back of the cabin, under the porch. Now, my brother and I used to watch a lot of horror movies together, and again, it was the middle of the night. At a cabin in the woods, it was winter, and it was fucking freezing and pitch black outside. We decided to flip a nickel to see who would venture out to get the firewood. And here's the part that answers the question. The nickel landed on its side. Nobody went under the porch that night. Monsters hate nickels. Monsters hate him. Use this one simple trick to keep monsters away.
r/Reddit.
I met my wife for Chinese food at a time when we were living separate and she had already served me papers for divorce. We both opened our fortune cookies. Mine said, "You have a lot to offer to the right person." Hers said, "Give him another chance." I saw the first hint of consideration in her eyes. We ended up not divorcing and I'm happy 12 years later. A few of you asked what had gotten us to that point. I'll keep it short so some details are left out, but the main thing that happened was my wife had started a new medicine that caused her to have a lot of anger that she admitted she didn't know where it came from. She had always been moody, but suddenly she couldn't stand to even be near me. I knew something strange was going on because of how sudden her whole outlook had changed. She was even telling people that she was afraid of me. Anyway, I did a Google search with just 2 words, Yaz mood. What came up shocked me. It was page after page of stories from women who said that Yaz had wrecked them emotionally. I showed what I had found to my still wife and she agreed to stop the pills and see how she felt. Nothing changed for about 4 days. That morning she said it wasn't going to work, saying, "I just can't stand to see your face." Yes, I remember her words, they were killing me. But later that night she called me and said, "I don't know what I was thinking this morning, I want you here with me. I can't even tell you how sudden it was. It was like a fever had broken or something." And to back it up, Yaz birth control has been taken off the market due to its psychological side effects. I still feel so lucky for that one Google search and for her to believe me enough to stop taking that medicine. Edit number 2. I was wrong about Yaz being off the market. It's been recalled in the past. Maybe I was thinking of that. Dang, how much did you pay them to do that? Probably less than a divorce lawyer.
r/Reddit.
I was cutting vegetables in my kitchen and a fly was buzzing around my head, so I swung around with the knife in my hand and sliced the fly clean in half. It could happen again if only you study the blade. Any recommendations where I can learn the blade? Go to a local mall and find the man with patchy stubble and a fedora. He will teach you the way of the blade if you describe to him what holding hands with a girl is like. You will know he is near when you smell a mix of sweat, cheap deodorant and flaming hot Cheetos. Instructions unclear. I'm being hunted by the dark demon Lord Chad the 69th. Help.
r/Reddit.
The power went out in my house, so I walked into the living room and said to my family, "Why are you sitting in the dark, knowing there was no power?" As I said it, I flipped the light switch just as the power came back on. Imagine him not sitting there anymore.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.